Good morning. OMG, what a fun morning this has been. Holy smokes. I actually start off, does anybody have or know anyone that has an Alphabet house with original windows? Crickets. Okay. Anybody with an Alphabet house with original windows? These will fix original windows, make them nice and tight and not just almost brand new. But I just want to give them to somebody. So if you know of anybody that would like something like that, off we go. Today's picnic. Yay. You know, this is picnic attire. This is a light-colored shirt for one reason and one reason only. It's so when I drop food on it, everybody will know I've been to a picnic. Isn't that the way it works? You know, we talk a lot about, trying to look at life a little bit better. And this is from Neil Patrick Harris. And we've all heard the saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, this is talking about doing games and such, and says, so go ahead, watch a variety show or a game show, get out a board game, solve a puzzle, look for joy and humor in everyday life. Your body and your mind will thank you. They've pretty much proven now that it is an anti-aging technique. Actually, this isn't him that said that. It's somebody else, but yeah, he's what, 42, 3, and just done a bazillion stuff. So we do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Lennon and George Carlin. And I know I didn't say it right. Thank you. Gee. Doing 10 things, too many things going through my mind right now. And John said, we've got this gift of love, but love is like a precious plant. You can't just accept it and leave it in the cupboard or just think it's going to be okay by itself. You've got to keep watering it. You've got to really look after it and nurture it. Yeah. And George, if the cops didn't see it, I didn't do it. Not quite as reverent. So, and things that make you go, Never believe anything until it has been officially denied. A fair request should be followed by the deed in silence. And everybody's silent. Just thinking about that. You're thinking about that one. Yeah. Belle from Disney's animated film Beauty and the Beast can be glimpsed in a crowd scene in another Disney animated feature, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. You guys can't sit there. You're supposed to be over there. I'll tell you, my world is just up on end today. I don't know if I can stand this. Does it feel a lot different over there? Yeah. Oh, okay. Don't. Before we fixed this building, and this wall was actually off the foundation, we had weeds growing up here. It was so cold over there in the wintertime. No amount of cranking the heater would work. And people, if they sat here, they all were bundled up in sweaters and coats. And so traditionally, people kind of moved away from there. So you look now, Shannon, you're the only one sitting there, really. Oh, yeah. Did you want to say something? Later on. Okay. All right. Here we go. Which one did I go? Also, oh, there we go. Beggars long ago discovered that they could increase their receipts by offering some sort of entertainment. It might be a juggling act, a crude show by a dancing bear, or some plaintive song. These and many other devices were used for attracting crowds. At what he judged to be the right moment, the medieval entertainer would break his performance, because of course women, I guess, didn't perform then. I don't know. It's all his and he stuff. Would have a break in their performance and collect the receipts. This practice was so common that in speech of vagrants and criminals, break came to mean collection. By the 19th century, friends of a criminal sometimes made up a break to help him upon his discharge from prison. No matter whether it was large or small, it was a piece of good luck to get a break. Picked up from the jargon of lawmakers, the expression has come to be so widely used that it is now quite respectable. Imagine that. Okay, more Alexa files, lovers of words. A dog gave birth to puppies near the road and was cited for littering. 2 Two silkworms had a race. They ended up in a tie. A hole has been found in the nudist camp wall. The police are looking into it. Okay. By the way, the picnic today is at Columbia Point Park. You know, it's straight down G-Way, turn left where you go to Winco, and just keep right on going and look for the explosion and the balloons. And no, we're in there, and we're the group nearest to Anthony's. Okay. So, don't wait for 6 strong men to take you to church. Forbidden fruits create many jams. God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. God grades on the cross, not on the curve. God loves everyone, but probably prefers fruits and nuts of the Spirit over religious nuts. Excuse me, let me say that again. God loves everyone. Good thing. Good thing. But probably prefers fruits of the Spirit over religious nuts. Can I put that on my forehead maybe? So, yes, here we go. All right. I did that, sort of, kind of. Anything else going on I should know about? Absolutely, absolutely. And beforehand, show up at the picnic even if you don't have food. Oh, cool. Okay, oneness blessings at the picnic. So, and bring your drums. They'll be drumming. And bring your appetite. I guess I don't have to tell people that. And what do you want? What?
And now she can make her hair.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Just throw it at me.
Oh, well, if it was smaller and lighter, I may have, but...
Out of popular demand, because of the house clearing class that I had last month, we're having it again in October. October 8th, Thursday, because that seems to be the day they've been demanding. If you don't know what a house clearing is, if you've got negative energy, considering this is, the time for Halloween's getting close, that spook, specter, and ghosts. If you're having paranormal experiences, sometimes a house clearing can actually take care of that. So if you want to be able to have this as something in your toolbox, or you want to actually help a lot of members of the church who've already taken this class, actually help people that actually call and say, hey, I'm having issues, would you please come help me clear out my house? Please come join the class. It's a $10 donation to the church. I'm doing this class out of the goodness of my heart because we need it, to be honest. And then there is one more event, which Janice is not. Where'd she go? Janice and I have decided that we're going to actually, on October 29th, the Friday before Halloween, we're telling real ghost stories. So we're people that have had events come see Janice or myself. Janice and I are going to tell us of quite a few of our experiences. They will be an interesting night, I promise. The 29th of October, Friday the 29th here. We haven't decided if we're going to charge for it yet or how much yet. We're just... Janice, are we charging for the 29th?
No.
We haven't decided that yet, have we? It's a Friday. It's
Yeah.
30th.
I vote no.
No?
I vote no.
No? Maybe. Yeah, donation.
Okay, that's fine.
So we haven't decided yet, so we'll just keep going.
And if you have your own ghost stories, bring them.
Yes.
I recently picked up a new primary care doctor. After 2 visits and exhaustive lab tests, she said I was doing fairly well in my age. I'm past 75. A little concerned about that comment, I couldn't resist asking her, "Do you think I'll live to be 80? She asked, "Do you smoke? Do you smoke tobacco, drink beer, wine, or hard liquor?" "No," I replied. "I don't do any of those. None of them." Then she asked, "Do you eat ribeye steaks and barbecued ribs?" I said, "Not much. My former doctor said that all red meat is really unhealthy." "Do you spend a lot of time in the sun, like playing golf, boating, sailing, hiking, or bicycling?" "No, I don't," I said. She replied, "Do you gamble, drive fast cars, have lots of relations?" "No," I said. She looked at me and said, "Then why do you even give a dang?" I've substituted a couple of words in there, by the way, so. So, yeah, bring your appetite. We are going to sing a song out of our books today because we have the computer up here. And believe it or not, I actually remember which song it was. Forever Young. And it really is. Forever Young, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful blessing. And it is always my blessing for all of you to remain forever young.
Okay, so the reason that they suggest that we practice this for 30 days is because we are always thinking about what we're thinking about. So if you check in with your mind right now and what you're thinking about and what's kind of running in the background of your mind. You may be in the background kind of worried about something. You may be thinking about a problem that you're having. You may be, thinking about a person that, or some kind of struggle. And that's kind of the state that we're in most of the time. Even if you just kind of generally feel okay, most of the time your energy might not really be in that state of really allowing what you're wanting to come to you. And so because of that, it takes practice to kind of get yourself out of that. And so that's what I discovered with working on this myself, is that the more I allowed myself to be in a space of really deliberately feeling good, that's when things started to show up. But the moment I slipped out of that, and the moment I either kind of slack up or just, I'm not really, focused on it, then sometimes that negative energy can kind of come back in, and then you start to kind of get the same results that you've always been getting. So it does take focused, deliberate daily practice to get consistent results. And within 30 days, you will begin to see evidence of this working, and by the end of 30 days, your life will be changed. But nothing changes until you change. So these are some tips for getting into a practice of the deliberate art of allowing. So what I found out from Abraham is that you start when you wake up in the morning and you get into a good feeling. So what happens is when we fall asleep, all vibration stops, our momentum stops. And it doesn't start again when you wake up unless you deliberately choose to go back to what you were thinking about yesterday. So if you had this big, huge problem you were thinking about yesterday, while you were sleeping, the momentum of that stopped. When you wake up in the morning, the first thought in your mind is that problem, then you're picking up that momentum again and you're creating more of that and bringing more of that to yourself. So the deliberate thing to do is to wake up in the morning, realize that this is the case, and then go, okay, I'm just gonna think about things that feel good right now. So even if it's how good the bed feels, it's nice and warm and comfy, or if it's, I'm just really grateful for seeing the sunrise, or you have to find things that work for you to make yourself feel good. So you do this, and you can do the 68 seconds, or you can do it longer. Another thing that you can do is start a meditation practice if you're not already. So again, meditation is one of those things that kind of helps to stop the momentum of negative thinking and negative feeling. So if you can get into that space where you're just kind of like, you're clearing your mind and you're just relaxing and you're letting yourself just kind of be, then you can actually activate this momentum of positive thought. Before doing anything else, you want to get into the zone. I feel like I missed a slide because I wanted to tell you what the zone is. There it is. I did skip one. So the first thing that you have to do is to get into the zone. This is the terminology that I like to use for it. So when reading about the book that Abraham wrote and everything, and when you listen to the videos and everything, they talk about the vortex. And to me, it feels like the vortex is someplace else, like it's outside of me. And so that's why I like to use the word the zone. So when you think about like athletes and artists and people like that, and when they're in that creative space and they're like letting this energy flow through them and they're creating whatever they're creating, or they're excelling in their sport or whatever they're doing, that to me is the same thing. It's being in the zone. It's allowing yourself to be accessing that high vibrational energy that's already a part of you. And so that is our connection with source energy. So this little sketch that I did over here, this is my, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is my sort of like vision of what that looks like. So here's me and my vibration. And then above me, connected to me, this is my connection to source, my high self. All of my guides and angels are up there, God, source energy, all of that. This is my vision of it. Yours can be different. But inside the zone, this is where all of the stuff that I want to experience in my life, that's where all of that stuff, I've already created it. And so when I access that through meditation or through just feeling good, then I'm allowing that energy of that to come in and be in my existence, into my physical reality. So, so that's what I mean when I say being in the zone. So the ways to get in there: meditation, appreciation, loving what is, 68 seconds of positive thinking, laughing, playing, feeling good. There's so many ways to get into that state of mind. So apologize for skipping that slide, but now we can go back to where we were. Yes. Earth energy coming up from below, and source energy coming. There's all kinds of energy that's positive and wonderful that's all around us all the time. And so we can just tune into that sometimes, and we can get our bodies and ourselves into that state. Thank you for asking that. Okay. Oops. Okay, so go back one. So again, before doing anything, you want to get into the zone. So if you are knowing that you're going to go spend some time with your family and there's people who kind of irritate you, get in the zone before you go. If you have a specific task at work that you're like, I'm not looking forward to doing this particular task, get yourself into the zone before you do it. If you're going to say any affirmations, if you're going to do any visualization, get yourself into the zone before you do it. That is going to amplify and give this process the power that it takes to actually create what you're wanting to create. So another thing that you want to do in your practice is doing fun things on a regular basis. That for me was really, really powerful when I made that choice. I'm just going to go out. I'm going to make a decision that wherever I go, I'm going to have fun. And because I made that conscious choice to do that, everywhere I go, I have fun. And it's just incredible because I haven't always been that person. We did a little personality test yesterday, and the fun personality, I actually scored, kind of little ways up there, and that usually, that wasn't me before, so yay. And then, of course, you want to let inspiration guide your action. So when you're in the zone, that's when those inspired thoughts can come to you, and that's when you can say, okay, I feel really compelled to go do this. And you'll find that those inspired thoughts are the ones that lead to those manifestations coming into your existence. So these are some things to kind of be aware of as you're doing your 30 days of practice. But yeah, there's going to be disappointments, and there's going to be things that, you're maybe struggling with a little bit. Negative thoughts and feelings always equal resistance. It always means that you're out of alignment, you're out of the zone. When things happen, it's something for you to be paying attention to about your own vibration and your own feelings, and helping yourself to get back into that positive state of mind by trying to refocus your attention away from that negative thought onto whatever is the opposite of that. That takes practice. It's not easy to do, but it's doable. So the second thing there is contrast. And so what contrast is basically the difference between this and that. So when bad things happen, if you can get yourself to realize that it's only a contrasting situation between what you want and what you don't want, and you can get yourself into the understanding that, okay, if this negative thing is happening, or if I'm experiencing this, or if I'm angry or upset about something, that the purpose of that is to show me that there's being this energy that's created at the exact opposite moment, in the exact same intensity, but it's a good thing and it's over here. And if I can take my focus off that and just look at this, then I'm going to get myself back into the zone, and I'm going to learn something from that situation, and then I'm going to grow and expand and, again, get myself into that state of getting what I want. And then the third thing is to really be mindful that this is a journey we're on. And there's always going to be things that are happening. There's always going to be, life circumstances coming in. We don't get it wrong. And as long as you're alive, you're not going to get it done. So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. If you're feeling negative, it's okay to feel how you feel. But eventually you want to pick yourself up and go, okay, what's the purpose in this? Or, what can I learn from it? And do the steps that it takes to get yourself elevated back up out of that, so that you can be achieving the things that you want to achieve and experiencing the life that you want to experience. So that brings us to manifesting money. Now, I hope all of that's been clear so far. I really tried to pinpoint the things that were kind of made it clear to me. So the reason why manifesting money can be very difficult for most people is because we already have a lot of resistance to it. We have a lot of negative thinking around money. We tell ourselves things like, you have to, work hard, and we tell ourselves, things that, you guys all know, you have these, thoughts about, negative thoughts about money. So the number one thing to do is to practice removing those resistant thoughts and feelings. So then, of course, you have to identify what those are. The next thing is that you can start small and general. So don't start trying to manifest the lottery. Start trying to manifest in smaller ways that, things that you already know that you can do, things that you've already experienced, things that you already feel good about. So, for example, for me, what I did was I started with, I can manifest $100 a day. I know that I can do that. With all the things that I know how to do already with my business, I know that I can bring $100 a day into my reality. And it doesn't have to be, I don't have to know how I'm going to do it. I don't have to have a specific plan. That's the whole thing about this, is that you're not planning anything. You're not controlling how things are going to come to you. The only thing that you're doing is being aware of what you want, and being aware that it can come to you, and being happy, being in a general state of feeling good, and that's it. So that's the next thing. Oops, actually this one, understanding the momentum. So the reason, again, that sometimes it's harder to manifest those things that we really want is because we already have a lot of negative momentum on it. So we're already going 100 miles an hour in the direction of, I'm never going to have this. It's really hard to stop yourself going 100 miles an hour in that direction. If you can slowly, kind of back yourself up to where you're going 5 miles an hour in the direction of I'm never going to have this, and then go, but it's possible. Then suddenly you're shifting your direction and you're going, oh wait, it really is possible. And then, hey, there's 20 bucks on the ground. So that's really how it works energetically. That's what the process is. So again, it's about being happy unconditionally. And when I say unconditionally, this has been like a really big aha for me, that if you are only happy when good things happen, then this process isn't going to work. You have to figure out how to allow yourself to just be in a general state of gratitude all the time, whether the things that you're wanting to manifest are in your experience or not. And so that is really one of the key things, and that does take practice. That's being unconditional. So it's a simple process of making a choice to do that, but again, our minds and our momentum and things like that can already be kind of taking us in a direction that we don't really want to go. So it's just about recognizing that and then going, okay, I want to back up from that, and I choose to be happy in this moment because this moment is really all I have. So I'm going to choose that for myself right now. The next thing is paying attention to and appreciating your progress. So when those little small things do happen, when you find that $5 bill on the ground, or when someone calls you out of the blue and says, hey, can you come over and do this or that for me? And they end up, paying you for it, or whatever the case may be. Pay attention to that because you manifested that. You did. You were doing the work and you created that situation. It might not be showing up in the way that you expect it to. So a lot of times when we get, money that starts to come in, it's like, oh, well, that's not actually my money. It belongs to somebody else. No, you manifested money. That's what you asked for. So you have to start paying attention and going, oh yeah, that is a manifestation of money. I see that I'm doing it. Now let me be a little bit more specific about how I want it to show up. And it will start doing that. But you have to be in that space of believing it, knowing that that's what you're doing, and then it kind of snowballs on itself. And then, of course, we can ask for help from our angels and our guides and our high self, and from God and Jesus and whoever you believe in. You can ask for help, and again, from that state of feeling good, being happy, feeling loving, you'll be able to access that more easily and get that help. So how am I doing on time? Okay. So I actually printed this up, and so I will hand these out. I have the rest of them first. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Kat. So now, again, what I want to really sort of emphasize is that this process is really easy. It is really super simple. And it's really just as simple as being happy. If you can allow yourself to just be happy all day long in any situation, unconditionally, you're going to be manifesting the things that you want. It just is how it works. But because we're human beings, we tend to stumble ourselves up and we tend to overcomplicate things, and then we start feeling bad about it, and we start feeling negative about it, and then we start trying really hard, and then we start thinking, I have to do all these things. And when you do that, you're not doing it. So because we are like that, and we tend to be like that, and I know that I've been like that, I've created sort of a list of just kind of things that you might want to consider doing to kind of keep yourself into this practice if you decide that you want to do this for this 30 days. So the first thing is, of course, you want to get into the zone. How you get into the zone is by caring about how you feel. So I'm going to give you an example of that. I had a situation where I was dealing with a certain person, and I was having fun with this person. And then for whatever reason, this person decided that they were going to go away. And I initially was like, I feel that's not a good thing. It's making me feel bad that this person decided that they wanted to go away. But because I've been practicing this and practicing being unconditional, I realized that that person had the choice to do whatever they wanted to do, and I have the choice to do whatever I want to do. And thinking about that person and the fun that we were having, all the things I appreciated about that person, their personality and what a hard worker they were and how friendly they were, all the nice things that they did for me, felt good. And so I made a decision, a choice to think about that instead of thinking about the thing that this person did that made me feel unhappy. And so because I made that conscious choice, I was making that conscious choice because I care about how I feel. And so now, when I think about that person, I only feel positive. I feel like this person is still my friend. I'm making a choice. And if I don't ever see them again, oh well. If I see them again, I'll be happy. I'll be happy to see that person. And so a lot of times, especially in relationships, we think that another person is doing something to us, and then when we see that person, we get, ugh, I don't like that person or whatever. But you have a choice. You always have a choice in that, making that decision of saying, you know what, blessings to you, and really meaning it and really feeling that way. So for me, that was a big aha moment where I realized that, you know what, I don't have to feel bad about the situation. I can allow myself to feel good, think positive thoughts, think loving thoughts, and all of the negativity just went away. So number 3 is choosing to feel as good, choosing to feel good as often as possible. Again, it takes practice. Number 4 is focus on feelings of love and appreciation for the highest vibration. Abraham says that love and appreciation are the highest vibrational feelings that you can have that are as close to source energy as you can come. Number 5 is starting the momentum of feeling good, being in the zone as early in the day as possible. So ideally, when you open your eyes, be grateful. Be in the state of appreciation. Think loving thoughts about yourself and everything around you. And just try to stay in that state of mind for as long as you can. Again, sustaining that feeling for as long as possible, milking it for all it's worth. The next one is focusing on the desires of your heart. So again, it's a lot of times, and you know, something that to pay attention to, even today, even when you leave here today, pay attention to what you're really focused on. I notice for myself that, yeah, I tend to focus a lot on the things that I don't want. But I think that we all do that. And so if you deliberately are focusing on the desires of your heart, that's going to amplify and speed up the process of those things coming to you versus that 24-hour period of time and the 12 hours that you spent thinking about the problem that you have instead of, you know, being focused on something that you actually want to create. So the next thing is getting clear on what you really want. And so that was a really big one for me. Sometimes we think we know what we want, but what we think we want is really based on judgment. It's really based on what other people want. It's really based on what someone told us we were supposed to want. And so when you're not getting it, that's because it's not really in your vibration. It's not really who you are. And so that's a really big one, to get clear on what you really want, what's in your heart, what's really a part of you. The next thing is to rest, relax, and take care of your body. That's so important to this whole process. And again, having fun, enjoying your life, that's what the whole thing is about. That's what the whole thing is really about. Manifesting abundance, manifesting lots of money, that's not really important for everybody. But it is important for everyone to feel good and to have happiness and to have joy and to have a healthy body. Those things are important for everyone. The next thing is to avoid thinking and feeling about unwanted things. I think this is the biggest trap that people fall into, and when people are practicing the law of attraction, or they think they are, and they're wondering why it's not working, it's because of that. It's because you're spending more time focusing on things that you don't want, or you're thinking about the thing that you want from a space of not having it and feeling like, I'm missing that thing, I really want it. So if you're in that vibration of like, I don't have it, I really want it, then you're still kind of, there's a disconnect there. And then the next thing is, again, to practice being unconditionally happy and loving. And that's a big one. Because it's really easy to love those people that make us happy, and it's really easy to love those situations where we feel good, and it's really easy to be happy when things are all positive and everything's going good. But unconditionally means that there are no conditions on your happiness. There's no conditions on your love. You are just being in that state because you want to, regardless of what's going on around you. And I want to emphasize there that when you get into that state of being unconditional, it's easy to maintain it because then you start experiencing more things that make you feel good. So it kind of starts to snowball upon itself. Number 11 is practicing knowing with certainty the truth of who you are as a deliberate creator and extension of source energy. I think that that's a really big one too, that a lot of times people forget. I know that I forget sometimes who I really am, how powerful I really am. And if we could stay in that state of mind of understanding that, You are loved unconditionally, you're supported, you have all of this power and all of this ability. What possibly could you have to feel bad about? But yet we do. So it's something that I have to constantly remind myself. And when I talk to people who are feeling depressed or they're feeling down, that's the first thing I do, is I remind them of who they are. And then immediately people start to feel better. And then number 12, let it be fun and easy. Again, if it's effort, you're not doing it. And that was kind of actually what pushed me to get to this point, is that I kept on thinking that I had to be doing something. I have to do this. This is, my business. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I was like, but I don't know what to do. I don't know. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. What do I actually do? And the reason I was feeling that way is because I was outside of the vortex trying to figure it out on my own, instead of getting into the vortex or getting into the zone and asking for that support, asking for the help, and then having the inspired thoughts to take the inspired actions. And once I started doing that, everything changed. Number 13 is to understand contrast. And Esther Hicks and Abraham say that when you get to the point where you truly understand contrast and the benefit that contrast has, nothing is negative. Everything is feedback. Failure is feedback. Every mistake is something that you can learn from. And when you get to that point where you understand that this is showing up to just show me something, it might not feel good at the moment, but I can learn something from this, then that's step 4. And step 4 is where you appreciate those things that are showing up and you go, okay, there's something here. What is it? I'm in the zone. I'm getting an answer. I understand what that was for. It goes away. I'm focused on the positive. My manifestation shows up. And that's what happens when you begin to understand the contrast is there to actually teach you something, and it's not something that's there to hurt you. So this is the last piece that I wanted to share. This is just one tool that I found. There's many tools that help with this process, and after this I'd be happy to talk to anyone who has questions about anything, even if it's a specific issue that you're experiencing, and I can shed some light on it from what I've learned. I'm happy to do that. But this is a very powerful tool, and if you can get yourself into a state of mind where you're in the zone and you're reading this and you believe these words and you say this out loud every day, you will notice results. I posted this on Instagram a couple days ago, and somebody wrote me back on Instagram and said that they read it, they went out, and they manifested money unexpectedly. So, I don't know, I'm just saying. So, the instructions, this is by Michael Bernard Beckwith. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was one of the people that was on The Secret, and he has a big spiritual congregation called Agape International. And anyway, he says that what you should do is read this aloud every day with tremendous feeling and emphasis. You can read it more than once a day if you want to. You can record yourself reading it and save it on your phone and listen to it. You can do whatever you want. But the key is to get yourself into the zone. So spend that minute and 8 seconds, get yourself in that space where you feel good, and then read it and believe what those words are saying, and you'll notice things that will change. And I want to know when things start changing. You need to come tell me, because I want to know. So I'm pretty sure that that's the last slide. And I don't know if there's still time. I know we're going to do a quick meditation. I wanted to get everybody kind of into that state of mind of creating something for yourself. It doesn't have to be a big thing, and actually it's probably better if it's not a big thing, to see how this process really works. You can create what you want in as little time as today. You can have something show up into your existence today. If you get yourself into the state of mind, understand that it's because you feel good that you're creating these manifestations, and then begin to practice that. And then also, if we have time, I wanted to have Esther and Tina share a little bit about what they've experienced with this whole process. Namaste, everyone.
I don't know about you, but I think we would like to have her do more of these, don't you think? Oh, it doesn't want to turn off. I know, that's okay. See if it'll do it now. Could get 2 microphones, but that would be too easy, right? Communion is part of that being in the zone, because this is our physical, it's a physical expression of that divine connection that we have, that we share. So would you join us in prayer, please? Loving Spirit of Light, as we partake of this, help us to recognize and remember that you love us and that you want good things for us and that you're here to help us and bless us. So we ask that you walk with us in all things and bring our minds and our hearts into gratitude. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. We have visitors today. Don't freak out. There's traditional unleavened bread. There's rice cakes if you're wheat intolerant, animal crackers if you'd like to honor a Native American pathway. Whatever works for you, works for us. We're easy. Easy peasy.
We ever had anybody freak out?
There have been some really wide eyes upon occasion.
Well, after 18 years, we can expect wide eyes.
Yes. As that continues around, would you join us in prayer again, please? Loving Spirit of Light, as we drink this in, help us to drink in life. Help us to drink in the abundance that is already there for us. Help us to remember these things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Sue, you want to do this? You don't have to. I mean, whatever's.
Yes.
So, I've been coming here, I guess about a year. I'm not even sure anymore, but it's been a long time, and it's been amazing. I'm probably gonna cry. This church has changed my son's life, and for that I'm more than grateful for everyone here who's been a part of his life. He is doing amazingly well, and as a mom, that's the most important thing, I think. The life of your children is generally more important than your own. But I understand everything you're saying, and it's because I wake up every day being grateful. And I'm so thankful to have gotten to that place. It has been a long road, but this church has been a huge part of that. So give what you can, because this church is a blessing, and we need to support it in any way we can.
Thank you. Oh, but she's not good at public speaking. Not buying it.
You didn't pass out. Even though now you're a hardcore.
Do you want to have have them speak now during the community contribution.
Okay, so Esther and Tina, if you would please share.
There is a fly in here that's just like,
Well, Crystal, I guess we've been really fortunate.
it's on.
It's been,
Hold it close.
Okay, we've been real fortunate because we have been having meetings at my house, and one of those meetings we started talking about the abundance, or a little bit about the secret of the law of attraction. And so I was listening to everything that Crystal, that we would talk about as a group, and I started using some of those things that's on the list. And the most important thing that I felt I needed to do was that I needed to go and have fun, something that I wasn't taught to do. My job as a mother was to work hard, and you don't have fun. This is the way I was taught while growing up. And even when I got married, it was really difficult to even go to say, okay, let's go to karaoke, let's go to a dance. It was really hard even to do that because that was extra time. I couldn't do that and enjoy that with my husband. And so I noticed that, that having fun was really, really difficult. So I started talking to my husband. I said, honey, let's start doing things that's going to be fun. And I know that that's going to help our, because you know what, when you're married, you still have to work at it, and building your relationship is part of that. It's having fun, going out with your friends, or just having a date, just the two of you, or going out of town. So that was really difficult for me, but we started doing this, and I started feeling really, really good. About 5 years ago, we moved here, and I had a home in Toppenish, and that hadn't been sold. I put it up for sale, and this is about the time that we were talking as a group, and I started doing things differently and sharing with my husband about having fun and going into a positive attitude and all this. And all of a sudden, this person comes and says, you know what, we want to buy your house. And I go, my gosh, that's been out in the market for 5 years. And I just couldn't believe it because I didn't expect that. I really didn't, because, Toppenish is, if it's a really small town, and it's really hard to have people buy homes there. So I was like shocked. And I go, okay. Well, the renters there, they were there for 5 years, so it was really hard for them to even think that they were going to leave this house, and so they weren't very happy. And I know the real estate person previously had said that it was really difficult to show the house because they always made statements that came in, and I go, well, let's hope that that when the people come and see the house, everything's going to be fine. And so the people really, really liked the house, and even though the renters were angry. But you know what? I was talking to the group, Crystal and Esther. We kind of have, there's about 4 or 5 of us that meet, and I said, I really need some prayer. I want that these people that are currently there, that I want them to find a house. I want this to be a win-win situation. I do not want to kick anybody up, because that's not my heart. I want me to feel really good that I'm going to sell this house, and I want them to feel good because I want them to find another house, and possibly even a better house. So that was important to me, because I wanted to feel good, because I wasn't going to let their anger, and my disappointment get to us. And that's one of the things I've learned about this, because I'm learning something new. I'm learning to love people. Do not look at the bad in them, because I can look at the bad. I could say, well, you know what, they were bad renters. They didn't do this and they didn't do that, but I didn't. I said, you know what, those 5 years, they took care of my house. So I'm looking at the good in them. We need to look at the good in people. Take a negative and change it into a positive.
We kind of need to wrap that up.
Okay.
So did they find another house?
found a house. Well, yeah, there was more to it. But it's neat because.
But we
it was a
can
happy
track you
ending.
down and get the rest of the story.
Yes. So it was really, really good.
Win-win. Love it.
Win-win.
Okay. Can you do it quickly?
Well, I found my perfect dream car, and it took a few years to get there because of the negative thinking, the fear around it. And the last thing that happened with my Beetle was that the air went out when it was 102 degrees. So that did it.
Here's your sign.
That was the kick in the butt. And when I had thought of this idea of possibly getting another car, I thought, what is my dream car? It is probably a hybrid because I'm into the environment and all of that good stuff. But it's like, oh, no, that's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. So thought about it again recently, and this just happened about a month or so ago. And I talked to my guides, and the word Toyota came in my mind. So then left that alone, forgot about it. Long story short, went out looking for cars, and it was not working out. And I did see a beautiful Toyota that I liked a lot. The dealership ended up calling me 2 days later and saying, guess what, I think we'll work something out. And I got a Prius hybrid. And I love it. And I used all of the techniques that Crystal talked about without even realizing I was doing half of them.
Gets to be easy.
But at the end, when I was discouraged, I kept coming back and more consistently staying with the idea that I deserve a wonderful, beautiful car. And I got it. And thank you, Crystal, for everything you teach us and the love that you give us. Thank you.
Amen to that. Thank you much. Well, we are way late, and I think that's not a problem at all. I think we'll hold off on the guided meditation that I was going to take you on because we have picnic stuff and food is getting ready. So we'll plan to do that guided meditation next Sunday. What I want to do is take you to the precipice of where you can access this energy really quickly. So we'll talk about that next time. Have something to look forward to. In the meantime, Mr. Phil, have you got a circle them up